irlonestar.com.
From the beginning, the main purpose of the Cooperative Extension Service has been to change human behavior by teaching people how to apply the results of scientific research. By utilizing a holistic, multi-level approach, Extension family and community health programs encourage health and well-being for everyone. Addressing values, concerns, and needs with reliable science-based information, Extension programs help people lead healthier lives. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Vell Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit, began in 2014 with a mission to strengthen the future of veterans through leadership and entrepreneurship training. We've invested over 1,400 hours of training in our veterans while connecting them with community entrepreneurs and leaders. Our mission is to continue investing in our veterans who have given so much for our country. Please join us in our mission by visiting vellinstitute.org. That's VELinstitute.org.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for being here with us on the Cindy Cochran Show. We're happy that you're here. I'm so happy to be here. And if you don't see me, now, are you see me now? You see me now? You see me now? Anyway, Richard and I, we get into conversations before the show starts.
Yeah, we do.
And it's hard to stop. You know, like, okay, well,
Quit
wait.
jabbering.
Well, yeah.
You know, I wanted to let you know. Tammy said I could go with you to Luby's.
To the widows?
Yeah.
Meeting?
I talked to her a little bit about it, and I was like, can I go with her? Just because I kind of want to see it, but also I feel like you would be more inclined to go if we went together.
Yes.
So,
yeah, for sure.
And you need a driver, it sounds like, everywhere you go.
I need an Uber person.
I think the meeting's coming up pretty soon, so I'll reach out and try to get all the deets.
Do they have guest speakers?
No, it's just a hangout.
Yeah.
They do. She was telling me it might be this month, but they do special things sometimes. Like it wasn't Ray Price. It was one of those early singers. It was. I don't think it was a Frank Sinatra. It might have been a Frank Sinatra. But they hire those kind of guys and do a little singing while you're eating. It's like
wow.
I think it's more of a fundraiser for the group.
Yeah. Frank would come back for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was a widower like 10 times. No.
But he's dead.
I know.
No, you just. I don't know if you knew that.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Hey, have you seen The Accountant 2 yet?
Yes.
You did? Did you go to the theater to see it?
I saw it with.
You didn't see it with me.
Well, I thought we talked about seeing The Accountant 2.
No, we talked about John Wick.
Oh, I know. I mean, before. I thought we. No, I think I went with Chad.
Yeah, I watched it. It's on Amazon now.
It is?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Did you like it?
It was totally different from the first one.
Yeah,
it was a little too. It was like totally different. And
it was so.
Yeah, it was too much fun. There was too much fun happening.
Yeah.
Because the first one was all about autism and like
Right.
these people, how they interpret life,
But
and how
didn't you-
life interprets them, or like society. And then this one was just like, oh, we're just gonna kill a bunch of people. Okay, which is
Didn't
cool.
you
Like
think he was being when he played. I mean, when he was being autistic,
Yeah.
he just seemed like he was overdoing it.
No, I think it was like because the first one did a lot of things to show when we introduced to stress and how he copes with stress.
Right, copes with, yeah.
But in the second one, it was more of like, to me, it was totally different script. I was like, who wrote this? Because it sounded like Ben Affleck was like, hey, I'll do Accountant 2, but I want to have more fun.
Yeah, but I think he did. Didn't he You might check and see. I don't think he might have written.
He might have,
Yeah.
and he's not a bad filmmaker. But I was just like,
No.
this isn't. It seemed like he cured his autism somehow. Like I don't know.
It was.
And then it was really weird. There's a plot.
it was-
There's a plot twist in it. I don't. We could talk about it later.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I saw when he got the brother and the FBI agent got introduced to the handler or the British woman.
Yeah.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in a movie. One of the most ridiculous.
Well, yeah. See, and I thought it was going to be.
because
Like
I started
the-
I started laughing.
See, the
And
first one.
not at the woman, because you find out at the end
Yeah.
of the first one it was the friend he made while in the special needs house.
Yeah.
But then when they showed like the legion of his helpers,
The
remember?
lead. Yeah, oh,
You remember
yeah.
that?
That's right.
That's so funny.
See that.
I was sitting there going like, that's got to be somewhat abusive, right? Like, kind of, right?
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that was really funny to me. But I saw it. I saw it yesterday, and I was thinking because I remember you said you saw it with somebody else, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so that movie was so ridiculous. It's still fun, and it's like the perfect sit back and relax and enjoy the show kind of thing. But
Yeah,
when
you
you
don't have to
when
think
you
too much.
recently watched the first one and you roll right into that because I recently watched the
Oh,
first
you did?
one
Okay.
because I knew
That's
it was
what
gonna,
I was.
I knew it
yeah.
was going to go on Amazon, so I was like, the first one was really interesting. It was good. It was different. It had some different things to it. And then the second one had nothing to do with the first one.
Yeah, it's like two different. Like it
Yeah.
happened in two different worlds.
Worlds,
Why?
yeah. It was
Why
it
would
was
you do
strange.
this?
It was very strange. And I've been wanting to talk to somebody about it because I was like, am I the only one that thought like it was a good movie, but it was like not the same? It's like
Yeah.
they could have this could have been a completely different title, different names, same plot, same everything.
Yeah, because I really liked the first one, and because my sister being a CPA,
Yeah.
it was just that's why I wanted to see it. And then when this one came out, like is he? What is he supposed to be now? And I thought he was just overplaying the
autism
Yeah,
part?
the autism part. But
Well, I didn't really even see the autism part.
you didn't?
Like he didn't have a lot of he didn't have a breakdown, didn't have a tick, didn't
No, but he
because
was
in the first one he would have breakdowns.
right, but he was so robotic in this one,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm just saying that.
They,
that I thought was-
I must have missed the line where he got his mixture of drugs on par with his body because he was like
Oh,
I must have
calmed
missed
him
that
down.
line. Yeah,
You remember when a long time ago we had someone on that was autistic, and so I went over to give him a hug, and like I'm so glad to meet you because we knew his mother or something, and so and he just recoiled or just went like really
Yeah.
stiff. And I had not known I didn't know that part of autism, like don't touch.
I think everyone's a little different.
Yeah, but I thought I just hug everybody. Anyway,
Yeah, like they don't like people. Like some of them don't like that was the thing in something about Mary where he doesn't like people touching his
yes,
ears.
I just saw that.
Yeah,
That was
that movie's awesome. It is so
it was so good.
because what I love about that kind of movie
Uh,
is if you don't just accept it for what it is and roll with it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this movie is so stupid." It is so stupid, but I mean, like, if he just let it happen, and it is hilarious. Like every joke is so layered in it, and some of the scenarios are like the Brett Favre thing was my favorite. Like the if it's the first time you're watching
right, yeah.
that I'm not gonna ruin it for people if they haven't seen it, but like that's my favorite part because you're like, how ridiculous is this movie's so wild. What are we talking about here? And then
And but the things that they brought up is so
like the dog.
the dog,
Dog was funny.
the
Her
hair.
neighbor was it her neighbor, or was that her roommate?
no, she.
The old lady with
Yeah,
the
I
dog,
think
because she was always in the apartment. So
Yeah.
I don't really
I
remember.
think it was a roommate.
Yeah, but she was always
what
in the
I'm thinking.
apartment though. In her apartment. The
Oh,
old-
that she was just over. She lived in the same complex.
Yeah, but like,
Okay.
like it always. I was trying to figure that out because I did last time. I haven't seen it in a while, but
that was so creepy. But also the dippity do that she used in her
Yeah.
hair. Was,
I see.
I was laughing so.
Oh yeah.
Because he couldn't. He was like
And
so
what's-
afraid of her.
You know what I
to
love
do
about
anything.
plastic surgery though, or I don't really know what surgery wise, but if you look at Ben Stiller during that movie, and you look at him like today, it's like he has a whole new face.
A whole new look. Yeah. Well,
because I mean, you don't
you
really
know when
remember.
he did the
It's like he had jaw surgery or something.
jaw lift.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was like skin surgery. I think he did something with his jaw.
Yeah.
Like he had like a severe underbite or something, and something about Mary. And then
he seemed like he was. Well, when he did the model thing, you know, when he was the model.
Zoolander, yeah.
And then there was the one that he did that with the they played ball,
Dodgeball.
dodgeball. Yeah, dodgeball. Did you like that one? I liked that one. That was so
very quotable.
Weird. It was so weird.
You know, the new
Those
show.
brothers.
There's a new show on Netflix that I really liked.
What?
It's called THURs.
TIRES.
Yeah, like a shop tire, and it's about a tire shop, and it's just ridiculous. It's.
Is it reality?
No,
reality?
it's a comedy. It's a short comedy, and it's really funny. And they just released their second season, and I enjoyed it immensely. It was.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Have you seen Severance?
No, I don't have Apple.
Oh.
I have no desire. Even though Foundation season 3 is coming out, that looks really cool. But
It's extremely weird. Chad will say, "You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this." And I went, "Okay."
I know
okay,
it's probably the biggest show from last year.
Yeah,
and season 2 came out, or it might have been beginning of this year. But I remember everyone was talking about it, and I was like, I have no desire to see that.
And so, I think it was Samantha was trying to explain to the new series, and it's so funny. She'd go on and on. She's, I can't remember the name of it. It's weird. It's like Lass, or I said, "Are you talking about Lasso?" You mean? And she went, I think that's the name.
Yeah.
And
sounds like her whole family has problem remembering names.
and I had watched that with Sam. Sam and I watched the first series, and we just loved it. And he was supposed to wait for me, like if I hadn't seen something. So we're caught up. We both caught up. And he'll go ahead and watch and won't tell me he's already watched it. And then he'll comment on it.
See, my philosophy on that is, if it is a habitual night that you watch TV together, sure. But if it's off and on, like you don't have a structured night to watch shows, you just watch it whenever.
We don't have any structure at all.
So because I ran into that when I was with somebody and living with somebody, and it'd be like, I get in trouble if I watch something ahead of time, and then of course when that other person would watch something ahead of time, I'm like, I kind of like put my hands up in the air, going like, "What do you? I thought you weren't supposed to do that because I got in trouble."
Huh.
So
well,
and that's when I told her, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing it on my whatever I want. If there's
you mean that was the deal breaker when you?
Well, I mean, if there's rules for me and not for you, that's not the way I live my life.
There's rules for you and not for me. Okay.
That's coming from her. Like
she's
like,
I understand. Yeah.
So.
See, well, that's what was weird with Sam being a 50s guy and me being a 60s, brought up in the 60s. And he thought, he just couldn't stand the women from the 60s because they were tried to be so independent. And they started wearing neckties and trying to act like a man.
Well, you're always going to have friction with that counter society viewpoint. But then there's also some funny things with it, because you can't, in any period of life, you can't have your cake and eat it too kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like, all right, if you want to be independent, but like, don't call me to change your tire.
Well, but what was weird is being born in 48. And so the 50s, I got the 50s because of my sister and her friends and all that. So I understood that part of it, and how dogmatic the church was about things during that time.
I can't imagine going to church during
and
that
then
time.
and then going into the 70s, wow, that was depressing though. And I don't think this music anything was any better in the 70s than it was in the. I mean, I like the 60s. I like the 50s. Some of the 50s, but that 70s started changing so much. Everything started changing. It started seemed like things were going like faster and all that. So and then the 80s.
That's when they discovered cocaine and LSD. So
Yeah.
everything just kind of opened up.
Yeah, it just opened up from
The interdimensional communication with the aliens happened. And
That's right. No, I remember my grandfather and my grandmother coming. They both managed theaters, and so
like movie theaters or
movie theater,
okay.
movie theaters. That's why I went to the show all the time and got on stage after everybody left the auditorium, and just to be, it was amazing, and got to go in front of all the Saturday morning, kids that are all lined up to go in to watch movies, and we got to walk all past them, and it was, you felt so cool. But anyway, now see, I took myself off into the weeds and was going to tell you something about.
I bet it was going to be really great.
They came over to the house that night that they said that that they thought that aliens had come in.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that this was, everybody needed to, make
See,
sure they stay in the house, don't go outside.
See, I always wish when I did drugs, I would see stuff like that. But the only thing I ever saw was like, I thought it was a snake, but it turned out to be an old nail gun sleeve.
No, but what they
You know what I'm talking about? Like the sleeve that was plastic,
yeah.
and when you're done with it, it'd coil up. And so
Right.
so that's the only thing I ran into that while I was going on a walk, and I thought it was a snake. And I was like, oh, there's a snake.
And you you ran from it?
Now I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I look closer. I was like, oh, it looks like snakeskin. And I'm like, oh, that's just a nail sleeve. Golly, I'm messed up right now.
But my grandfather and grandmother had just watched the Orson Welles thing.
Yeah.
And he did
Oh,
have
the War
to
of
do all
the
that.
Worlds?
He had to do that retraction and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because everybody thought that was real. That was.
I believe it.
That
People were
was
so
really
gullible
real.
back then.
Oh,
People unlocked their doors. They
we never locked our doors.
Yeah,
We didn't lock our
you were
car
so
doors.
gullible.
And it was.
And then
And
some days,
nobody-
one day, one guy's like, I could just walk in this house and take stuff.
No, but we had a big fence. And we had 2 Doberman Pinscher guard dogs, and
Well, you know what I mean. I mean,
because somebody did break in.
People still do it no matter
Yeah.
what. Like,
And my dad worked at night.
I told you the scariest thing that, like, in our neighborhood, one of my good friends, these people followed his wife from the Market Street in the Woodlands.
Oh,
They followed her all the way to Montgomery, and she had 2 kids with her. There were 2 kids at the time. Parks in the garage, gets the kids out. One's in an infant. Brings them inside. And they wait till she goes inside, and they come in, get into her car, and steal the purses she bought for her family for Christmas, like really expensive purses.
yeah.
And they have it all on footage. And I was like, that's insane, man.
They had it all on footage.
Yeah, because
they had a camera
he
in
had
the-
security camera in the garage.
in the garage.
And they had him
Oh.
out, and it was just like, I was sitting there going like, see, that's kind of scary, because imagine just going into your house, and within that time period of putting the kids up, then going back to the car, the stuff's gone.
Well, did you ever get a Ring? One of those Ring cameras?
No, I've installed a couple for people, but I've never.
Well,
Like, they're pretty cool though, because
They're very cool.
if anyone walks by, you get a text. and-
except, we're like we were 500 feet from the street,
Yeah.
so we're not expecting somebody to do
so
that.
you get like coyotes and stuff.
And so that was the strangest thing, and birds flying right into it. You
Yeah.
know, because the light would go on, they
That's fun.
fly into it, and it was strange. But I was so afraid that I was gonna turn the camera on, and on my phone, and check it out, and somebody stand up and look in the. It scared me to death. To me, that was way too creepy. Way too creepy to. And I could see the neighbors, and I could see, we had cameras everywhere. And we put cameras on the trees coming in, when people driving in, and it would light up. And so as they came in, everything would light up. And it was just, and I thought that would
Identify
make me feel
yourself.
secure. But it didn't. The security is weird, because you think, this is great. And then I go out and I look out in my backyard where we're another 500 feet from where the creek is, and then they're building all these mobile homes there, and if people were walking across, they could.
Oh yeah.
come right. Oh, it was scary. So I'm so glad I'm in a closed neighborhood, and that the only thing you worry about is people that want to do harm wait for the gate to open for somebody to drive through, and they can drive through too. So what is the security of that? Except they finally put a camera
Yeah.
on to start taking pictures of the.
Yeah. We finally
License
got
plates.
a camera on the exit.
Do
in
y'all
our
have?
neighborhood.
Do y'all have one?
Yeah, we finally got an exit camera. Because people were like, "Oh, my privacy," and I'm like, "Well, if you're worried about people coming in the neighborhood, we got to at least get a license plate for
Right.
insurance purposes and things like that."
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's right.
I don't know.
But y'all have never been broken into.
No, the only thing that the only startling thing I ever found was the gate to the house. The sensor, the way the sensor's set up, it's in this little corner against the brick. It's basically two brick pillars,
Mm-hmm.
and then the iron posts are attached to the pillar for the gate, right?
Yeah.
And when there's a sensor that's kind of like right there at shin level, that is on an L bracket on the iron post part. And one day I found it was just snapped, like it's perfectly snapped in half. And I was like, "There's no way anyone hit it with a car because it was so close to the brick and the iron post. You would have hit.
They look like somebody.
You would have hit the brick, right? There's no brick
Yeah.
damage." And then I was sitting there, and I was like, the only thing I could think of is someone tried to climb the fence, and they thought that was a step.
And they stepped.
And they stepped
oh.
on the sensor to use, and it just perfectly, because the way it was built,
Yeah.
it was a single piece of plastic with a metal L bracket, and it's tied together, and it just snapped. And so I was like, was somebody climbing the fence?
That's good. Good
So
detective
that's-
work.
Oh yeah, I'll find you. I'm not afraid of finding you, and I'm not afraid of not calling the cops.
Well, back
So-
in our barn, the door to our barn, after Sam had passed, I kept checking everything. I'd go around checking out everything, and then I looked, and it looked like somebody had taken a screwdriver and tried to
Yeah.
jimmy the lock, and so I was so scared, and I started telling everybody, "Look, you got to come over here and see somebody." They said, "Well, he still might be there. Go back in the house and lock the door." And I said, "This is ridiculous." And so they came over and they went, "Cindy, that was already done when we were trying to move furniture out and stuff. We did that. You didn't
Yeah.
notice it?" And I went, "No." And
Yeah.
they said,
I don't know how I could deal with you day to day. I couldn't do it.
I
I
know.
would have to have like a buzzer with you, but like this is the silent Cindy buzzer. It's like, nope, not today.
See, Chad was so happy that he didn't have to drive all the way to Willis,
Yeah.
and I move right around the block from him.
Not today. You're spilling the popcorn. Not today.
And so I said, now, aren't you glad I'm back here so you don't have to drive all the way? And he's coming over and mowing the lawn because I got a lawnmower because I didn't want to pay the guys to do it anymore. And
I always love that when people get to those moments where it's like, I don't want to pay a service for this anymore.
no, I
But
want.
then in like a year or two, you'll pay a service to do
Well,
it.
I'm sure he did because he
I
came
always-
down
I-
$50 off of his price. He said, "Miss Cindy, would it be
Yeah,
okay?"
oh,
if-"
yeah. No, I always give my parents a hard time because they're always going back and forth on that crap. And I was trying to explain to them, I was like, the really what you're paying for is long-term maintenance
Right,
plus the convenience.
right.
Because what's nice about the pool guy is the pool guy's maintaining the pool.
We have to have the pool
So
guy
if it rains, you don't have to waste the time to figure out the pH levels
and to shock it, yeah.
and to counter whatever, because it's going to be raining for like 5 days.
Yeah,
Right?
in a row.
And
yeah.
if you own a pool, rain can really screw up a pool.
Yeah.
And so, and when I say screw up, I mean like you got to spend extra money maintaining it. And so I was like, just pay this guy whatever it is. Like it's going to balance out at the end of the year. It's going to balance out, and you don't have to pay for extra chemicals.
Well,
So
and
the
they,
worst
and they
case
clean
scenario,
the leaves out too.
yeah. But it's just one of those things. And same thing with the yard. But like I like doing my yard. That's where I have fun. I get if I haven't had time to get outside, I'll spend the 2 hours maintaining the lawn.
Are you driving on a
And-
180?
Yeah, a zero
Okay.
turn.
Yeah.
I have a zero turn, and then I'll do any. The worst right now is actually the trench between the houses, because over the years, I'm not like the rain
Mm-hmm.
has knocked down a lot of the solid dirt.
Right.
So you'll be going on the zero turn, and then you'll be slanted so far where like I have to hold on with my right
Oh
arm
my word.
so I don't fall off to the left. And I'm like, I'm gonna flip this baby.
That's
And so I stopped doing that. I got a different blade for the weed whacker, so I can just walk it, and then just hoping there's a snake. And
I hope there's a snake.
yeah, because I live on the lake.
Yeah,
I
see,
go to
that's,
the lake, and so they always find little critters. And
that's
then,
fun.
But yeah, no, I enjoy doing that, so I do not mind doing that. But when it comes to this paying people, I'm like, it's about maintaining things,
Well,
especially like the maids.
yeah.
Like I always felt, because I remember when I was living with somebody, they wanted to get a maid every week, and I go, why don't we just get a maid every month?
Right.
That way, like we
The
can
deep cleaning.
the deep cleaning,
yeah.
and that way, because we can manage the simple things.
Right.
That's manageable, but like,
Well, two teenagers, you have to get their cooperation to understand that when people come over and they want to see the house, they want to see the house, and
oh yeah, no, I
and-
get you.
and we can't show them, or they'll think that we're abusing y'all and locking you in your room and stuff. So we can't do that.
You reminds me. You said teenagers. My friend just discovered wash and fold.
What?
Wash and fold.
Wash and pull?
Fold.
Fold. Oh, wash and fold. Oh, okay. He just discovered
He
that?
just discovered it. Like I was talking to him this morning, and he's like, "Dude, I found the best thing." And I go, "What'd you find? What did you find? What's the best thing?" He's like, "Wash and fold.
Yes.
$75, 3 trash bags of clothes." And I'm going, "Why do you have 3 trash bags of clothes, dude? Like I wash clothes maybe once a week, or
Uh-huh.
and it's when I have like the 3 hours to really finish it."
Mhm.
And then he's just like, "I just been really busy, and it was getting bad. I was stinking." And I was like, so you discovered the wash and fold, huh? And he's like, "It's totally worth it. Totally worth it." 'Cause to me, $75 is a lot of money.
Well,
But then again, if it's 3 trash bags of guy clothes, he's like, "Yeah, they put everything in hangers. They folded everything." And I'm like, "All right, it's not that bad."
well, in the Woodlands, they have one that is we'll do your laundry in 4 minutes. You can sit down the chair. We'll get it done in 4 minutes.
There's
And
no
I'm like,
way.
4 minutes.
There's no way.
Well, and they didn't have like a limit, like you can only have a half a bag, or you can have.
There's no
you
way.
know.
I still don't believe that.
And so
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
look
I
it-
haven't
don't believe you
tried
right
them.
now. I don't believe you.
That's
I'm gonna
what-
look it up.
That's what, and I don't remember the name of the place. So, but it, I mean, and they did real good work. Whenever I brought a bunch of stuff to them, I felt so bad.
I don't
And
see
they're
anything
Do you
what you're
ever
talking
do your
about.
washing? Yeah, no.
The only thing I remember, you interviewed that lady who would do your clothes, and she'd pick them up from the laundry ferry,
Right,
and she would come to your house,
right.
and they just do
yeah.
it by the bag, and she supplies the bag, so that way the
And
trash
she-
people don't
But
just
she
pick
was
it
a
up.
clean. I mean, she'd come and clean your house, and that's
No,
what
she would pick up the laundry and do your laundry and fold and bring it back to you.
But I interviewed somebody that cleaned your house, and I remember seeing her again. I went, and she said, "Do you need me now?" And I was like, "Yes." Oh, all the time. I said, "I have to give you a call."
I know who you're talking about. She's a sweet lady.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah.
she never would look at me. She always looked at you the whole time through the interview. I'd be asking her
we
questions.
all know why.
Please, that's so creepy.
We
That's so-
all know why they look at me while doing your show.
Yeah, I know. Because you talk so much, they think it's your show.
Yeah, the
That's
Cindy
it.
Cochran show.
Yeah, the Cindy Cochran show. And Cindy asked me the other day, she was here, my granddaughter Cindy.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Do you think he talks more than you do?" And I went, "Yeah, I can hardly get a word in edgewise, and to talk to him, but he has more stories, and I'm older than you are, and you have more stories to tell than
Which
I do."
it shouldn't be that way.
No, not at all. I should have all the stories, but a lot of the stories I haven't told.
Well, they're X-rated.
what-
It's when you're doing your drug dealing days, which are coming to an end. You had to pass on the enterprise. We know you did, because you were out for what, 3 months, 2 months.
and I was
You're out.
Yeah, I had
You
drugs.
you didn't get locked in the bathroom again, which is good.
No, but
And then
but I had to have drugs because I was in pain. I'm still in pain, but I'm learning to live with the pain
yeah.
and try and take Tylenol. And did you take 3 Tylenol?
You know what that reminded me? When you say living with the pain, you know what that reminded me of?
What?
When I was growing up, there was this guy, like I think it was one of my buddy's dads, and you know we were playing baseball or something, and one of us got hit. He's like, "Oh, you feel that pain? You feel that pain? Like you gotta live with that pain." And I was like, "Well, why? Like, why do we have to live with it?" And he's like, "That because of Eve."
Because of what?
Because of Eve, from Adam and Eve. And I.
That
It's
makes
like-
a lot of sense.
And I was sitting there going like, "You're thinking way too into it, man." I don't think like I think when we're in the Garden of Eden, we could still prick our finger. Like,
Yeah.
I think there was still pain.
Right. There was
But
still
yeah,
pain.
the way he said it, though, dead serious, and I loved it
Because of Adam. But see, the manly
because
man
of Eve. Because of Eve.
goes with the pain. You just, when they say, just go with it. Just go with the pain. Go with it. It's, and you won't feel it.
Well, that's why they call it pain management. Well, that's one thing I am a little scared getting older was there, especially with my parents, like from seeing how they transitioned to pill taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like there was that one moment you're like, oh, you got to take this pill every day. And then every year there's a new pill added. And then it's like,
Yes.
yo, we got 20 pills here, dog.
Oh,
and
yes.
yeah, it was funny is I grew up in a family where we never took medication. Like if I had a fever, my mom was like, to sleep, here's some white. She made sure I was eating, and then if the fever continued for more than like a day or two, she might
Right.
give me some Advil or NyQuil or
She won't
something.
take you to the
No,
doctor?
never.
Well, no.
Because, the only thing I think of, and I asked her about that, I was like, why? And she's like, well, you're my 6th kid. You can kind of tell when you're, like, really sick, and then you can kind of tell when you got a bug.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
that
I
makes
never
sense.
really complained, because I was just like, oh, I'm sick, I have a sore throat. And she's like, a sore throat, you just got to take care of your body for a couple days. Don't,
My brother-in-law
And I still
was
today.
an internist, and when we would have dinner with everybody, all the families would have dinner, and he'd say, boy, when people get old, that's all they want to talk about is them being sick. And he said, here's the deal: if you have a fever that lasts for this long, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Go to emergency room. Go. If you have a headache that lasts this long,
Yeah.
go to the. Nothing else. Everything else will regenerate itself. It'll
well,
be
no,
okay.
I always thought it was because my mom was just kind of over it.
Yeah. Well,
because I definitely grew up in that time period. My parents were just over raising kids.
Well, because look,
So-
you have to take the kids to the doctor so many times,
Oh yeah.
and then you start going. I could do this. I know what's wrong with them. I'm not going to take you to the doctor.
Yeah.
I can tell, and so the big deal was the aspirin, but when I was growing up, it was powder, BC powder.
I know. It was that little white powder in your little special keychain. Yeah.
I think they were getting us all ready for
Yeah.
how to
Fentanyl
deal with
and all this kind of stuff.
with
and
cocaine and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
No, but it's kind of funny to me because like even today will never do NyQuil or Dayquil. I'm like I never think of it. I'm just like I'm just got a cold or like I just have a fever. I'm just gonna drink a bunch of water, make some soup and
Now I got hooked on NyQuil because the alcohol, and Sam said it was the alcohol, and I went, no, it's not. That doesn't have alcohol in
Doesn't
it.
have,
And he
like,
goes,
doesn't it-
70%. He goes, okay, let's
Yeah.
read the percentage of this. And he
I thought it was
showed
like
me.
15.
No, it was
Really high.
ludicrous. It was
Yeah.
like 70% of it was alcohol.
So this is a while ago. You were addicted.
Oh
to
yeah,
it.
this was back when they first came on the scene, and
So you were just drinking it just to drink it?
no, I was taking it. I was taking it at night so I could sleep. And he
Oh,
said,
I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think it's designed for when you're sick to help you sleep, not just because you can't sleep.
yeah, I couldn't sleep. So
So you technically were an alcoholic?
no, and then I realized
Cindy?
it was so much alcohol in it, and my mom said, "It's how much alcohol?" And
I
she
can't
said,
believe
"You've
you
got to
do
put that down. We're going to send you to rehab or something." No, but
Well, you know what that reminds me of? Remember those Western movies? What was that thing what the women would always be hooked on because their husbands are, out doing the gold rush or whatever? It'd be like lithium, I think, or something like that. They have that, I need my medicine.
I need my meds.
Yeah. Laudanum? Was it laudanum?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
You know, like in the movies, there's always some woman addicted to some medicine from the local store
And they're giving her,
to help her, sleep or help her with the.
but it's like really sugar water or sugar. They
No, it's like an actual like hardcore drug.
on
And
Mayberry. That's what they did with the girl lady that coming into wanted her medicine, and the druggist realized that she's hooked on this, and we've
Yeah.
got to get her off of it.
there's
So
Cindy.
if she has
Did you have?
she has medicine that's sugar water or just sugar in the capsule, she'll be fine. But she just needs to think she's taking something.
Yeah.
That's not how I am. But
Well, you literally just casually go, yeah, I was addicted to NyQuil and I wasn't sick. I was just taking it to sleep.
right, and it's what's scary is that I had no idea. I mean, they sell it across the counter. If you think it's okay. I'm not
Yeah, it's
giving
never your
anybody
fault. It's never your fault, is it, Cindy?
It's never my fault.
Yeah. Never your fault.
Antihistamine was to make me sleep as well when I was younger than that
I mean,
because
stuff you show up your nose?
no, antihistamine dries you up, and I would and it would help my eczema so I could sleep.
Yeah.
And when I found out that
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're a mutant.
yeah, I am, and so
Yeah.
I would take that, and my brother hid it one time away from me, and
That's a nice
I mean,
brother.
I didn't. I look back on what I did to him and I go like, that you could have laid him to rest right there because I was so
So, yeah.
mad that he would do that. Like
Give me my NyQuil.
came in trouble, came in
Give me my
between
NyQuil.
me and my antihistamine. Don't do that. But
So you were just hopped up on drugs growing up.
well, I had issues and problems, and
You're like the girl interrupted girls. Got some
No.
severe issues.
no, I have autoimmune system.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a name for it now, autoimmune. That's so funny. It's like whenever everybody has, they'd have to come up with a name so that it was okay. Because I never went through menopause. I never had that hot
Well,
flashes or
you
anything
know
like
why?
that.
You were sleeping through it.
Maybe that was it. I was drugged through
You
it.
were just sleeping through it. That's what it sounds like.
No, and that was when I was like in my 30s, 20s, late
Well,
20s.
you're going through menopause in your late 20s?
No, the NyQuil was late in my late 20s.
the alcohol addiction. Okay, yeah.
And then
Or the NyQuil addiction sounds cooler.
NyQuil addiction. But no. And so I never,
Did you carry NyQuil in your purse?
no.
Because that's when you know you got a bad. You got.
No, I was just home all the time. I was, like,
actually
raising my
I was,
children.
I was talking to my buddy about that because I like to dip, and I go, "Do you think it'd be different if like we couldn't carry our dip everywhere?" Well, because like some people who are like alcoholics, they'll have like a fifth.
Oh,
But like women, it's so much easier for women to conceal things because they have a purse.
right.
But men, it's pretty difficult. But they'll keep it in their car, so they can't have it on them. So you can kind of notice when a dude's an addict because they're like, "Oh, excuse me, I got to go over here, or I got to go. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something from my car." Because whenever someone says they need to grab something from their car, I'm like,
They may be doing a line or something.
"Yeah,
with
they must
it,
be doing
yeah.
something, right?"
Yeah. Right.
But
that's true.
But yeah, I was like, I wonder what would happen if like we couldn't carry it on person. It was an activity where it's very obvious what you're doing, besides having a giant thing in your lip.
But see, I think women can handle pain much better than men can.
Can handle pain.
Yeah, pain.
Sure. Oh, I think everyone is
much better
different.
than-
Everyone is different.
No, but I don't know. I think women can because
Well, it's probably because they get mistreated every day. Like right when they're born, they're already behind. Because they're getting beat down by the world, getting beat down by dads and brothers. Like you must have. I mean, the fact that you came here and you're still here,
yes,
I'm amazed.
you should be. You should be. Especially when I was in the hospital, I said, when do I get the pain medication? I need that right now. And
And then they looked up your medical history and they're like, "Ooh,
no,
she used to be addicted to NyQuil. We don't want to put her over the edge."
I'm not that good of an actress, but I was. But when they come in there, I go like, please. I was begging with them, like, I've got to have something to.
We spoke I spoke to you in the hospital, I think, didn't I?
I don't know. I think I texted you.
There was a moment when
texted.
you texted me and it sounded like you were messed up.
No.
But then like you immediately go, "Sorry, I'm on a lot of drugs," and I was like, "Okay, what's up? Like, does that mean you need help, or what does that mean?
So I need to come to the hospital."
Yeah, like I don't.
No, it was because they had me on.
I know.
Had me on morphine.
Isn't morphine great?
Hydrocodone. Morphine is amazing.
It's because that was the only drug I've ever tried that reminded me of the movie Inception. Because
I love that movie.
You know the movie Inception where
yes.
they put the needle in them and they're like, "Oh, I'm going into this alternate thing with my sleep."
Right.
And that was the only drug I've ever had. Like, that was awesome. I could do that every day. I could do that every day.
But when they give that people that are really, really bad off, and they give them that thing, and so you hit it. They gave that to me when I had my.
I told you to joke with that button, right? Because I've only had morphine like once in my life.
Oh, what was the joke?
So I had a knee surgery on. I had my PCL, MCL. There's two other ligaments, and the doctor was basically, they wanted me to stay overnight because I guess it was just, I don't know. They're probably trying to get money from my family. You never know.
Right.
Well, when I woke up from the surgery, they had a morphine drip directly in my knee.
Oh.
So it was already getting whatever.
Yeah.
It's already there. Like, it's doing its own thing. And I felt fine. I wasn't messed up or anything. But then they gave me a drip IV. And they had
you abused it?
No. And I didn't use it the whole time. And I'm just sitting there. And then I asked my mom. I was sitting there. I was like, "Mom, why would they give me this when I have it in my knee already?" And she's just like, "Oh, it's just to help you sleep. Like, if you need to go to sleep and like you'll go to sleep in like 5 seconds." And then so I kid you not, there was like 30 minutes later, my mom was babbling about something, and I go, "Hey, mother," and she looks at me and she's like, "What? Am I boring you?" And I'm like, "No, you're great. You're great." And I'm just clicking it. I'm like, "I love you.
I love you.
I love you."
Now leave.
And now boom, out.
Now I would go to. I love that's. You're right. I love to go to when I'm.
And then
and
then I convinced my girlfriend to come up to the hospital, and I was like, "I want to make out with you while I'm on morphine."
Oh, that's what you said to her?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "This is the only chance I get. You gotta come up here." She did. We did. It was the funniest thing. She's like, "You're being checked on every hour." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what makes it so great."
Well, at least you weren't a fall risk because
I couldn't walk for like a week. It was bad.
They wouldn't let. I'd step over. I wanted to go to the restroom. And they go, "Dun, dun, dun, dun," and all these people come in there and go like,
"Well, yeah, you're a flight risk."
Not fall risk. I was a fall risk.
I would call it flight risk.
That's true. Yeah, because if
I
started feeling good, I would.
I guarantee you'd get up and be like, "Man, I need some spaghetti. We need to."
I'm going down to the cafeteria.
Yeah, where's Olive Garden? I need to find some Olive Garden, man. I need to get some spaghetti.
Yeah, if I'd known how to DoorDash, it'd just been.
Can you do that in the hospital?
In a hospital, I don't know. Well, they order pizza. People ordered pizza.
That's interesting. I always wondered how that was.
Yeah, so
I've only been in the hospital one time. And that was for that. That's the only time.
You've been on one time?
Yeah.
I thought they were going to name a corridor after me. Have you seen the people that are? I can't even say it. It's too.
We got to get going.
Oh, we got to get going. Oh yes, 2:55. Okay. Well, we started late.
I know.
Because I was late. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Know.
At least I was here, and
in general, at least you're here. In general, we should be thankful every day.
Every day. I'm so happy. When I would hear Richard's voice, I go like, "There's hope for the world," because. It was just.
Well, you never really told people what happened was you were fighting over a parking spot. And you got out of the car and you dragged this other lady out of her car and you started getting in this fist fight. And then ironically, after you beat her to a pulp, you turned around and you tripped over the parking deal, like the parking concrete deal. You tripped over it and you hurt your ankle.
You
So
know,
I mean, I was like laughing so hard. It was like,
I was always so worried because y'all would believe what he'd say, and I know now that
I can't believe
you're
you
so smart. You know that
treat
isn't
people
true.
like that, and I think the cops even said, like, she kept saying, "This is not how you do it on my street. This is not how you do it on my street."
No, I.
After every punch to her face.
What did you have today? What have you had today? Have you?
I'm on like 3 hours of sleep, unfortunately.
Oh,
So
okay.
'cause I worked late last night, and then I got home. I couldn't sleep, so I watched The Accountant 2, and then I couldn't sleep, and then I had to be up here early in the morning. So I've had a couple hours,
Poor thing. Oh, poor thing.
which is fine with me. I was having a good time. It wasn't like I was being an idiot.
But you were so excited because I was going to be
Yeah,
here. I told you I'm going to be here.
Yeah, I'm always looking forward to seeing
But
you.
but when it started raining like that, I thought, oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I text you to be careful.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah. You just say,
you know what I immediately thought was, I made a really bad joke yesterday talking about you falling, trying to get in here. Like, I was like, she's gonna fall now. She's gonna fall.
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
going to be because
I'm gonna
you.
see they have City
yeah.
Hall going on right now, and they're all going to rush out to help this lady. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And it's gonna be Cindy. And you say that iconic line.
Richard told me to do it. He told me
No,
to
it's
fall. Yeah.
I've fallen.
and I
and I
can't,
can't
get
get
up.
up.
That's what they want to get me. They
That-
want to get me one of those
that's the
things.
thing.
That's going to be
I
great.
would.
Huh? You
I would, but I can see you touching it. I can see you pressing on accident just because you're just like,
Silver Rock would have gotten me that
yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're
you
so
tripped
sick
over
of me
everything.
falling all the time.
Yeah, because you don't look at your feet when you're like, you don't pick up
No.
your feet. You
No.
slide.
I do now. I got
Like, you don't use your knees at all.
no. I just
That's why I wanted you to have the fake leg. It would force you to like
See,
limp
the
around.
doctor came in and said we got to do this MRI, so we got to find out if this lesion is too close to your bone, and so because we would have to take the whole leg. And
Well,
that's what
that's
he
why-
told me on Friday. And he says, and I'll
I'll be right.
I'll let you know Monday because I'll
Yeah.
let you know Monday if we're gonna have to do that or not. And he walks out of the room, and I'm going,
Well,
I don't know if I'm not gonna have a leg.
I'm just thankful that after you got in that fight and you tripped over the concrete barrier, they discovered that thing in your ankle.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was it.
so-
I'm just, please, whatever he says, whatever comes out of his mouth, except, Cindy, you look great today. And Cindy,
I've already said that today.
No, you said that yesterday, too.
I
No.
said it today, so you look great.
Okay. You're forgiven for all your sins. Okay. All right. Well, anyway,
I meant like considering what you do,
my age
Yeah.
and what I had was wrong
all the
with
drugs
me
you take.
and all the drugs I take. I have 7 drugs I have to take
I don't
in the
even want
morning.
to. I don't even want to ask that question.
7.
I don't.
7
I
I have
don't.
to
I don't
take.
want to know. I don't want to think about it.
Samantha says all you need is just CBD or what's
Yeah,
it?
CBD.
CBD.
Yeah.
You
And
all you need. You can go to sleep. You won't remember the next. You
Yeah,
know,
and a little cocaine is for a little upper.
Yeah.
You're wild. I love it.
No, I just want spaghetti. That's all
Yeah.
I want. Okay, so anyway, first responders, thank you so much for you being there when we need you, and you are running into it while we're running away from it, and you're so brave, and we appreciate you and love you. Thank you so much for being with us today, and want to thank the Chris Wootton Financial Group for their support and underwriting. He's still doing that, right? Even though I wasn't here, he's still underwriting, right? Okay, good. See, there, it's just great. All right, love you. All right, bye-bye.
Every week, people ask the same 2 questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these 2 questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, 1-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran Show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.
Did you